Hi, my name is Span and I read books. I have decided to come back for another year. I have been doing this YouTube channel for 5 years, for a while. This year, which has become very stressful very quickly, New Year's Eve was a horrific day. A giant black cloud came over our farm of ash and I had a panic attack and I evacuated straight away. About 8 hours later, my family and all of the animals joined my sister and I in the city. They've been here and back a few times already, and we're still in the first week. However, I think that this will continue throughout all of the summer season. There's a big threat of fire all over the country, basically, especially all over the state of New South Wales, which is where my parents' place, where I live part-time. And it's terrifying, but I'm safe, my family are safe, and as far as I know, everyone that I love is okay. There's been a lot of evacuations and a lot of houses burnt down and a lot of very, very scary hours without contact with people, but as of right now, things are okay. I mean, it's apocalyptic and everything is awful, don't get me wrong, but on a personal level, I'm okay. My anxiety is through the roof. I've got asthma from the 20 times hazardous air quality that we have in Canberra at the moment. Some days are better than others, as goes with the weather for the fire and firestorms. I am not keen to go back out into anywhere, really. In a couple of weeks I'm going to Perth and there is supposed to be less fires in Western Australia, so I'm really hoping for a little bit of a reprieve. My asthma medication has been giving me hiccups, which is embarrassing and sometimes lasts a while. I had 5 lots of hiccups in 2 days. That sounds trivial and funny, and it was, but it was also quite painful and all of the muscles in my chest and my throat was starting to really hurt. I also get foot cramps from my medication as well, which aren't just like normal aching cramps, they're like mind-blowing. I think the whole world is ending and my foot is literally going to tear apart type of cramps, and it happens most evenings. I haven't been able to do a lot of exercise and I've been eating terribly, which all adds on to the anxiety and the physical unwellness. I'm sitting on the floor right now, which I'm not supposed to be doing, so that's also naughty. Anyway, what should I set as my Goodreads goal? I need your help. When I set my goal too low, I don't even try and I don't feel inspired at all. And when I set it too high, I feel like it's unaccomplishable and I just back away and I don't want to do it. That's what the last couple of years have taught me. But this year, I thought my goal would be I would read as many books as I can and then say what that number is at the end, or as I go count how many books I'm reading, but not have a goal, like not set, okay, I'm gonna read a book a week, because maybe I'll read more than that if I'm just left to my own devices, who knows? But then again, maybe I won't read at all, which happened a little bit last year. I just stopped reading completely, even though I had a goal. I don't even remember what it was at this point, or if I accomplished it. And I don't really care much either, and I think that's saying a lot because that's something I really did care about a couple of years ago. So far this year, I've read one book called The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is a coming-of-age novel that is really creepy and interesting, and I really enjoyed it, and I love Gaiman's language and the way that he just explores words, and this book is really cool. It's obviously set in a graveyard where the ghosts who are in the graveyard are connected to the cemetery, like who's buried there. There's a whole bunch of different characters throughout time who are all like ghostly apparitions, but they're from different times, which I find really interesting and a fantastic concept. And the storyline itself doesn't exactly evolve around that, but that is such a brilliant concept to me that I recommend that book and that idea. I like its creepiness. It's got that real Neil Gaiman style of having something that's not too horrific, but absolutely chills you anyway. It's not really suspenseful and it's not really horror, but it's very creepy. And I really liked that about this. And let's just say I will never trust anyone named Jack again, or anyone who describes himself or herself as a jack of all trades. So the reason that I read this book is because earlier I bought Masterclass, which is a platform where professionals will teach. And Neil Gaiman was doing one, which is why I bought into it. So I get to watch videos that he's presented to teach writing. And I think that's just amazing, and I love doing it so much. So about 4 episodes in, he does a little bit of a study on the Graveyard Book, and I hadn't read it. So I stopped and I paused the video and I was like, okay, I don't want to read the rest of this until I've read this book. So I thought to myself, next time I'm in Canberra, which could be weeks from now, I will go and buy this book and read it, and then I can continue. And the very next day, I was in the Salvation Army op shop going through the books, and what should be there for 50 cents but the Graveyard Book. It felt like fate, like destiny. Of course, I bought it and started reading straight away. It did take me a few weeks to read because of the extremely stressful life that is going on at the moment. And also before that was Christmas. So it has been a bit slow for me to read. I could usually read it in about a day, and it took me a few weeks, but it's fascinating. It's a great read, and I really enjoyed it. This video was supposed to be a this is what I'm doing this year video, and turned into a book review of the Graveyard Book. I'm sorry I've been away for so long. I miss you guys. Anyway, I feel like we need to have a coffee and catch up, so that's why I'm making this. But I do have a TBR, and I will do a TBR video next. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books on that TBR at the moment. This is a cool version of the book too, because it's partly illustrated. It's got these really nice, I would call it printmaking art. Like, it's creepy, right? But I really like it. I guess it's just an artistic interpretation, and that's such a cool thing to see, even if it doesn't align with what I was imagining, which is what happens in movies. And this would be a really cool TV show. I think it would make a great episodic show to watch. That's another thing I feel like I've accomplished this year already, is that I've watched the whole season of Witcher on Netflix, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's quite violent, but it's worth it. I really want to play the games now and read the books, but apparently they're translated from Finnish, which would be really interesting to see. And it's all fairy tale-esque, but like the dark fairy tales. Oh, and I'm over ASMR. I do not want to do those videos anymore. If I find a sound I want to capture and keep to hear myself later, I might make those videos, but it's just going to be books and my life from now on. I will watch ASMR when I want to, but I won't be creating any more ASMR content. I don't like watching it back, so I don't feel the need to create it anymore. Thank you all so much for sticking with me, and I hope to make a lot more content this year and catch up on your guys' videos as well, because I have not been around and I'd like to be. All right, I'll see you all very soon. How do you turn this thing off? See you in the future. How do you turn this thing off?